Hello everybody, my name is Daisy Daniel. I'm a Christian personal resilience life coach coming to you every Thursday, every Monday at 12 p.m. lunchtime. Yes, I want to have lunch with you. What I'm going to be doing is doing an impromptu read and reflection and have a time of dialogue on the book, The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. It is a time that I look forward to every week because I think sometimes we don't make enough time to really just talk about some deep subjects and deep concepts, and this is a good opportunity to do so. Now, I do want you to know that this is a safe place. You are not required to speak or comment on any of the things I share or talk about unless, of course, you want to. I want it to be a very casual time, and also a time where I could just reflect on what I'm reading as well. So we are going to get started. The other thing with these videos is that I'm not going to edit them. I'm not going to pre-plan, not do any form of outline or anything at all, because I want it to be almost, like the first time I read it, which it is the first time I read it because I haven't read this whole book. This book I got a couple of months ago, and I found it to be so helpful that I thought, why keep it to myself? Why not share it with the world? And that is the reason for this Facebook Live. Again, the book has to do with codependency issues, and so many of the issues we go through in our lives has to do with codependency. And like I mentioned in my first video, if you have had situations or have gone through any form of abuse, you're a codependent. So I'm sure there are things in this book that will help you. I will also upload these videos to YouTube and my website in case you can't join me at 12. I know 12 o'clock is probably not the best time for many people, especially those of you that work. But this was my thinking. Could be during your lunchtime, a nice little break to do some personal self-development. And I also had all of the homeschoolers in mind, because I remember when I homeschooled, I was always on the go, and I never stopped to really try to help myself with my personal development. So I want to invite all the homeschool moms out there. I know now we have even more people homeschooling because of the coronavirus. Lots of people stuck in their homes. So that is the reason I chose 12 o'clock. I'm also considering getting the book in Spanish and doing the same thing in Spanish. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. Leave me some comments and let me see if you think I should do that. All right, we are going to begin. Going to read where I left off, which is right here. On Monday, we read Resisting Negativity. So if you didn't get to hear that, go back either on my Facebook, which is at mymomentlc.com, at mymomentlc, or on my website, www.mymomentlc.com. All right, here we go. Letting go of the need to control. Wow. I could already tell this is going to be loaded before I even read it. I could tell just by the topic. Hey there, my friend. Thank you for joining in. The title is Letting Go of the Need to Control. Here we go. The rewards from detachment are great. Serenity, a deep sense of peace, the ability to give and receive love in self-enhancing, energizing ways, and the freedom to find real solution to our problems. Okay, that is a quote from her book, Codependent No More. And in case you didn't know, Melody Beattie is like the author. She is the author of many books that have to do with codependency. And that book in particular, Codependent No More, is an amazing book. I've read it. I need to read it again, actually. Let me repeat that. The rewards from detachment are great. All right, we all know what detachment means, right? A deep sense of peace, that's the first thing. The ability to give and receive love in self-enhancing, energizing ways. And the freedom to find real solutions to our problems. That's a lot of good information right there. Wow. I'll repeat that later on towards the end because I think that's really good. Let's keep going. Letting go of our need to control can set us and others free. I underlined the important things that I would like to go back to chat about. And, if you don't have this book and you'd like to join me every week live, or even if you don't join me live, I recommend this book just for yourself. And, of course, if you do get it to join me, don't read it ahead of time. Be surprised like I am because that's very exciting. And then you could jot down your little notes, what you are getting from it, and then we could chat about it in the comment area at the end when I'm done reading it. All right, it can set our higher power free to send the best to us. If we weren't trying to control someone or something, what would we be doing differently? What would we do that we're not letting ourselves do now? Where would we go? What would we say? What decisions would we make? What would we ask for? What boundaries would be set? When would we say no or yes? If we weren't trying to control whether a person liked us or his or her reaction to us, what would we do differently? If we weren't trying to control the course of a relationship, what would we do differently? If we weren't trying to control another person's behavior, how would we think, feel, speak, and behave differently than we do now? I'm going to go ahead and underline that one. Control, before I keep reading, control is at the root of codependency. So if you are not too familiar with codependency and how it works and how you get caught up in it, just know control is at the root. What haven't we been letting ourselves do while hoping that self-denial would influence a particular situation or person? Are there some things we've been doing that we'd stop? How would we treat ourselves differently? Would we let ourselves enjoy life more and feel better right now? Would we stop feeling so bad? Would we treat ourselves better? If we weren't trying to control, what would we do differently? Make a list and then do it. All right, so right there, she's giving us a call to action. She's given us some very good information. She's given us questions to reflect on. And then she gave us a call to action. Make a list of all those things that you could be doing instead of trying to control other people. Wow. That's good. All right, and I'll read the little, I took my glasses off. I could see, but I see better with my glasses. They just kind of annoy me. Here we go. Here's the little prayer at the end. Today I will ask myself what I would be doing differently if I weren't trying to control. When I hear the answer, I will do it. God, help me let go of my need to control. Help me set myself and others free. That's a very good prayer. Let me underline a couple of things there to go back to it. I'll repeat it since it's short. Today I will ask myself what I would be doing differently if I weren't trying to control. Then when I hear the answer, I will do it. God, help me let go of my need to control. Help me set myself and others free. That's very good. It reminded me of that prayer, the Serenity Prayer. And one of the things, we know that the Serenity Prayer is based on the 12 steps, Alcoholics Anonymous. And for those of you that have not seen the movie about the wife of the man that started Alcoholics Anonymous, I highly recommend it. It's called When Love Is Not Enough. And she was such a codependent person that, and the movie's brilliant. I mean, it's just amazing. It's a true story. She was such a codependent that all those years that she put up with his alcoholism and everything she tried to do, she was very subservient, very loving, very caring. And when he finally had a spiritual awakening and had a dramatic change in his life where he stopped drinking, she was actually upset. She couldn't believe that her love was not enough to make him change. And that's why the movie's called When Love Is Not Enough. And they actually stayed together. They never got divorced. They never separated. He pretty much, after he wrote the 12 Steps with another man, it was a friend of his who was also a recovering addict. After they wrote the 12 Steps, you would think they were like famous and everything. No, they were like gypsies and homeless, living from one home to another, living with friends, sleeping on their sofas. And at the end, it has a very good ending. I won't ruin it for you, but it taught me that a codependent will not even rejoice when God intervenes, you know. It's kind of sad. And that is our need, our strong need to control, you know. Instead of letting God do what God needs to do in the lives of people, we try to bring change in their life. We try to change them. So let's go back, and I'm going to read again the points I underlined, and then I'm going to read all the comments and see if we have any feedback that we could continue the dialogue. So I wrote here in the beginning, the rewards from detachment. And I think detachment is very different from alienation. It's two different words. So when you detach, you are noticing that something is not good for you, something is not healthy for you. You have to draw a boundary. You have to draw a line in the sand. Ooh, a bee. You have to draw a line in the sand, and you have to detach from the situation and try to not let it affect you. However you could do that. To alienate yourself from someone is to completely have no contact with them. Do not, you're not involved in their life. You could care less about their life. But a healthy detachment is good, and that shows that you are respecting yourself and growing. So she says here, the rewards from detachment are great. Here they are. A sense of peace, the ability to give and receive love in self-enhancing and energizing ways, and the freedom, three things, to find real solutions to the problem. Because when you are controlling people, you're really not solving anything. You're not loving yourself, first of all. You're disrespecting yourself because they are a human being. You are not God. You're trying to control them. And so, the Bible actually says that the spirit of control is the same as witchcraft. That's pretty deep when you think about it. So if you are in a controlling relationship, someone's trying to control you. Let's say you're in an abusive relationship and someone is trying to control you. In a situation like that, you have to really consider detachment and possibly even physical separation because, like I said, it's the spirit of witchcraft when you are trying to control another human being who has a brain that could think for themselves, that can make decisions for themselves. So when we detach, we experience peace, receive love in energizing ways, and freedom to find solutions. That's very good, all in of itself. Then I underlined, letting go of our need to control can set us and others free. That is true. I've had to detach and let go of many things in my life. And looking back on the things I've had to let go, they have not hurt me. It's been for my good. It's been for my good. It's always been for my good. And it has set me free. And I think it sets them free because when you're enabling them to treat you in a dysfunctional way, and you are thinking that that's showing them love, guess what? They don't look at it as love. And if they do, then the relationship's really sick. So there's a difference between controlling and supporting. And when you support, you allow the person to make the choice for themselves. You honor their opinions. You honor their beliefs and how they're perceiving things and what they need to do. You need to respect that and not come against it and try to control it. That sets them free, sets you free. Now, she asked a bunch of questions that if you weren't controlling a certain situation or certain people, what would you be doing instead? Think about it. What would you be doing instead? Put it in the comments. What would you be doing if you were not controlling other people? Well, I could tell you in my life, when I stopped trying to control situations, control people, I had more time to be creative. I had more time to do the things I love to do. I had more time to write, reflect, try to develop myself personally, become a better person, work on my weaknesses instead of focusing on the weaknesses of others. And I guess where I struggled the most was trying to get them to hear me and understand my point of view when they really did not want it and they didn't care for it. And I think at that point you have to really honor yourself and detach big time, because if they can't honor your feelings, how you feel about something, if they can't honor your concerns, your frustrations, how you perceive things, then they're really just not honoring you as a person, That's part of being a human being, being able to process things, learn and grow, make mistakes. And if you're not allowed to do that because someone's controlling you, or you're controlling them and not allowing them to make mistakes. I know I'm guilty of that as a mom growing up. You always want to overprotect your kids, and you don't want them to go through the things you've gone through. So I used to tend to really overprotect my kids. And, I've asked for forgiveness, and sometimes they accept it, sometimes they don't. And those are just normal mother mistakes. No one has given us a blueprint on how to parent, and we learn as we go, we make mistakes. But detaching from people that are controlling you is very important, and knowing where to draw the line when it comes to your personhood. All right, so think about what would you be doing if you weren't controlling other people. Then I wrote here, if we weren't trying to control, what would we do differently? Well, I think now that I've learned kind of to detach, learned the hard way, I really respect other people's opinions a lot more. And 10 years ago, certain people, I wouldn't even give them the time of day. I just wouldn't, just because of my belief system. But I've come a long way to where I respect everybody. I allow people to have their opinions. I might not agree with it, but it doesn't mean I have to reject you, And I'm really proud of myself for that. I am, because I used to be a very judgmental person. And it was, partly the environment I was in. It was just something we did, as a family. We were highly judgmental of people and self-righteous in many ways. And I know I was like that. And I've asked forgiveness to everyone I could think of that I've treated that way. I've gone back and I've asked for forgiveness, which is, by the way, one of the 12 steps. Recognizing your wrongs, going back, making it right, and continuing that process. Continue to do that. And then at the end here, I underlined, her call of action was write it down. What would you do differently? I think there are still areas that I try to control. I think it's a natural thing for mothers, especially. Now with this coronavirus, I find myself telling my kids, make sure you wear a mask, and sending them all the horror stories that I read on Facebook, of people that have gotten the virus. And because I know that the way their dad thinks and the way I think are like night and day, so I could be a little overbearing telling them what to do during this coronavirus. Well, guess what? 2 of them are adults. One is 14. And when it's all said and done, they're going to do what they want to do. And there's nothing really that I could do except admonish them, tell them what I think, what I would like for them to do. But then when it's all said and done, they're going to do what they want to do, whether that's wear the mask, not wear the mask. I remember just wanting them to wear jackets when it was cold outside. That was such a fight. Little things like that. You have to give it up, detach yourself from all that stuff. It is really draining your brain power, your energy. You only have a certain amount of energy and time each day, and how you use that time and energy is very important. And if you're spending all that time and energy trying to control other people, getting other people to do what you want them to do, you're really not doing anything for yourself. You're really disrespecting them, disrespecting yourself. It's like a lose-lose situation. All right. And then at the end, God help me to let go of my need to control. Help me set myself and others free. That was really good. All right, so now I'm going to read the comments here. Let's see. All right, our listeners are saying that they could relate to this message, that they're going through that, to detach. All right. Anything you'd like to share that you'd like for me to read of things that you have done to detach, to draw a line in the sand, or examples of ways that you have been controlling? I think when other people hear examples, like some of the examples I gave, they could relate, and they could say, oh yeah, I do that. Oh wow, that's controlling, really? They don't like that? Oh wow, I didn't know. And it's good that you're able to express that. You at least recognize that you deal with that too. I think all of us do to some degree. And when we're talking about stuff like this, they're deep things, and not everyone likes to talk about it. But I think once you voice it, right there, you're in the first step in the right direction. And then once you start meditating on it and what are the things you could do differently, I mean, that's really where the magic occurs, is where you actually write it down and then do it. My youngest son, we were having a conversation recently of a few things that I do that he doesn't appreciate, and I wrote them down, and I'm actually going to make a nice digital picture of it and print it and put it in a frame. Because whenever I really want to follow something, I make a vision board of it. I do something visually to remind me on a daily basis. And him and I are going to do that together when he comes next time. Why? Because I respect him, and I don't want to do anything that offends him, makes him sad. He's my child. And so being proactive with the steps that you want to take, but then actually doing it, that's really where the power is. Let's see here. Sometimes there is a cycle you're stuck in. Oh yeah, and when we do it for so many years, it becomes like our normal, right? It's kind of like with this pandemic, many of us, I know some of you are in different countries, but here in the United States, we've been home. We've had a stay-home order that just recently got lifted, and all of us have been home for at least 8 weeks. That's a long time. That's a long time to be stuck in the house, especially when you're not used to it and you're a very social person. I'm very social, so I'm used to going out and doing things. And so that's hard. I haven't had a hard time because I also enjoy being home and working on my business and doing things, and I've kept myself busy. But you have to be careful during this pandemic of social distancing that you don't then stay that way. You know, you get used to just not being around people, doing things with people, and I think, you know, like you said, it becomes a cycle that you get stuck in. And definitely control could be a cycle. And I think also many people that control is because they were controlled. It's a learned mechanism too, a survival mechanism. You know, when there's a dysfunctional relationship, dysfunctional people living in the same house, they don't know how to relate to each other, they don't know how to treat each other, and it just escalates, and it becomes really, really a sick relationship, an abusive relationship. It's not healthy at all for anybody. And that, you know, I can't tell you how many women I have talked to that had no idea they were being abused, and because it becomes a cycle, like you said. It's a cycle you're in, you don't even know you're in it, you just know something's wrong, that's all you know. So this is a good start, trying not to control other people and writing down the things that you could be doing differently with your energy and your time if you're not controlling other people, okay? All right, and detaching from the things that don't benefit you and are controlling you. Because it works both ways. You could be controlling people, but they could be controlling you as well, and you have to draw boundaries. And from my experience and women I have worked with, once you start drawing those boundaries, that's when things get ugly. Okay, because people who are abusive, that is like an addiction for them, and they love it, and they don't want to lose that control. And so you definitely need support. Once you start detaching or breaking away, whatever you choose to do to get healthy, you need to have a plan ahead of time, way ahead of time, and do it wisely, because you don't know how the controlling person's going to react to that. So let me see, anything else? Yeah. All right, well, this has been good. This has been really good. For those of you that don't know me, I am Daisy Daniel. I am a personal resilience life coach, and I'm going to be coming to you every Monday and Thursday to do an impromptu reading of this book. No editing, no pre-reading, no nothing. So it's a authentic reaction to the words on the page, and I would love to be your coach. I would love to help you through your journey, through your processes, through your pain. I get no greater joy than to help women recover and become resilient and strong, because it's hard. It's very hard out there, but it is definitely powerful, and I'm a testament to that. So if you haven't been on my website, please do. It's www.mymomentslc.com. I'm also going to be putting these videos on my website and on YouTube. The name of the book is called, and I'm sorry, but when I show the book, it's backwards. I don't know how to do it. If I show it like this, it's backwards. If I show it like this, it's backwards. Anyway, it is called The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie, and I will put a link in the Facebook. Once I'm done recording, I will put a link to it, okay? It's a very, very good book. I highly recommend it. Thank you for visiting me. It was great seeing you, and I'm going to sign off for now, and I will see you on Monday, all right? God bless. Bye.